Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Today's November 23rd,
Yes.
2025, and this is the Sunday before Thanksgiving. So our topic today is, drum roll, grateful for Kith and Kin. And we were wondering what in the world Kith means. It's not a kiss. It's not a list
Yeah,
for
when Judy gave me the title, I got all puckered up. I was ready. I thought this is going to be a good day. And then she tells me it's Old English.
thought maybe it was kissing cousins or something, but no, this is an old English word, and it means your community. Kith means your community of friends and neighbors, and even the terrain that you're familiar with, your home, your hearth,
Your neighborhood.
in your neighborhood. Yeah. So because the first Thanksgivings were with community, and they were giving thanks for all the help that community offered, including the Native Americans with their
Sure.
sharing of their agricultural techniques, to grow things like corn and things that
Sure.
that the Europeans had never grown before.
And they all went to their local Publix, which is incredible. And they shopped and they got discounts and it was amazing.
Yeah, and so the interesting thing about Thanksgiving is that people did that spontaneously all over the world. It was not the same day though. They had different times whenever they wanted to express gratitude, and especially for the harvest. It was usually after the harvest, gratitude that we had a good harvest and food for the winter, because in those days they had to stock up food for the winter. When I lived in Germany, we lived in a rented house. We had farmers as our landlords, and there was a whole room full of potatoes. A whole room
Mhm.
stacked full of potatoes. Another room was stacked full of sugar beets, and that was to feed the cattle. But the potatoes fed them all winter long. So this is the way it used to be. And so they were grateful for the harvest. And it was, as I said, it was done all over the place at different times, different communities, and usually with other, like, tribes of Native Americans or other people who had helped them with their harvest. It did not become official until the middle of the Civil War, or War between the States, as the South says. Uh, and that was because President Lincoln, thought it would be a good idea to have a day of gratitude to try to unify the states.
So the war wasn't all that bad a thing.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah. We've been watching it lately, the new Ken Burns series on the revolution.
The
And
American Revolution.
wow.
Yeah, it was far more brutal than we realized. Um, so that's what recognizing our kith and kin is about. Um, oh, I just shared the part about the beginning of Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Okay, so something here I wanted to share. Um, ah, so who do we consider our neighbors? I've noticed that Bob has a way of just really warming the hearts of our neighbors here when he calls them family. Someone apologized for something, and he said, "Oh, don't worry about it. We're family." And I could
And she
just tell
stopped and she said, "We are. Yeah,
she
we are
was so
family."
touched by that.
Yeah.
And so I think it's so kind of him to do that, because a lot of people, when you live in a condominium, try to pretend that we're not all living so close, and I don't want to know anybody or anybody to know me. So it just really warmed my heart and warmed her heart for you to say, "Hey, we're family. It's no big deal." And so, because we have 163 units here.
Right. All family.
That's
This is a
a
very
lot of
big
people
family.
to know.
A very busy father.
A very busy father. Okay. So,
Oh, this
who
is
do
Sunday. I
we
should
consider?
we'll cut that out. Yeah.
Okay. Well, who do we consider our community? And that could be just your immediate family for a lot of people on Thanksgiving. Often people, though, do invite other friends. When I lived in Germany, we would invite people who had never been to a Thanksgiving before, and they were very impressed with the size of our turkey, which we could buy at our base commissary. And they had just never seen that before. Turkey is an American bird. And so the rest of the world doesn't know about turkeys that I know of. And so it's quite a unique experience.
You bring up that experience. So for me, we got in what we called a catwalk, and I told the woman that we were family. But I need to say that because I need to know that. I need to remember that we're a family. And how would I treat family? I mean, not my original families. I don't treat them very well, but no. I mean, we have rules. No, I mean, when you think of somebody as family, it literally changes the conversation.
Yeah.
What if during this Thanksgiving season, and maybe even beyond that, we considered everybody in line at Publix or wherever you shop and everybody on the road as family? And I think that's just such a difference. Suddenly we become connected rather than trying to get around each other.
All right. And in our Thanksgiving this week, which we will have at my son's house, there are friends invited to, some of their best friends. And so I think that tradition still continues. It's for family and friends. So so who do we consider that when we, and of course with our teaching, we believe that we are one with all of life and all of humanity. So that extends our kith quite a bit if we think that way. And I do think it is the way to think about things. I've got some great quotes here. Albert Einstein said, well, first I'm going to go to the CSL Global Vision. That's our Centers for Spiritual Living headquarters. And all of us came together and came up with this global vision. We envision a world in which we live and grow as one global family that respects and honors the interconnectedness of all life. A world where this kinship with the life prospers and connects through the guidance of spiritual wisdom and experience. Nice. So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about our global family. And Albert Einstein said this: our task must be to free ourselves by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature and its beauty. So that takes it beyond all human beings and to all of nature and all animal life. I wish everybody would believe it.
Something I've noticed is that clubs and organizations very often they're not just formed to perform a task or because of an uncommonness. They're sometimes formed to keep people out. That is, this is an exclusive
That's
group.
true.
And exclusive groups tend to get smaller until they get so small there's no room for people. And they get smaller because the rigidity and the necessity of having people that are similar and safe just makes them smaller and smaller. So I guess where I'm going with this is if you're making your world smaller to be safe, there eventually won't be room for you. And if you're making your world bigger, not only will there be room for you, there'll be room for friends and family and new friends and new family.
Indeed. Um, and Ernest Holmes said this: you belong to the universe in which you live. You are one with the creative genius back of this vast array of ceaseless motion, this original flow of life. You are as much a part of it as the sun, the earth, and the air. So that extends it beyond the animals to the earth and the air.
So are you saying the universe is the boss of me?
Yes, yes, you are part of this thing. Universe, the universe.
Unified.
Uni means one.
Yeah.
Verse
is like in poetry.
Yeah. It must mean something else as well.
The music of life. Yeah.
Because I think it means everything, what we call our universe.
So I was thinking today, if we were to, for the next 30 days or more, if you just for the fun of it, imagine that today is a day of abundance. And say that to yourself when you get up in the morning. Today is a day of abundance. And that means abundant love. That means abundant money. That means abundant caring. That means abundant health. But saying that is the way you start your day. Today is a day of abundance does a couple of different things. It programs the brain, the unconscious, to start looking for evidence and support it. We're not looking for enough evidence that the world is abundant as much as we often are looking at the stock market to see if it went down, to see if whatever we're doing didn't do as well, or whether we're still safe. And so that kind of vigilance, although it has a benefit, it also has a cost. And so if we were to do all of these things at the same time, we're saying today is a day of abundance. Today I'm going to look at and look for what's good. And we don't have Thanksgiving dinners every day, but when we sit down to Thanksgiving dinner, we act as if this is the way life is. And on that day, it is that way. We're literally making a day of Thanksgiving. And I think people don't realize it isn't a holiday that came to us that we have to prepare for. We are actually creating Thanksgiving. If we are to create it every day, Thanksgiving, every single day, and have it be a day of abundance, I don't believe that all of us are going to get everything we want and it's all going to work out beautifully. But I do believe that it's going to go better than often it has been going because we have become so energized with fear and so constantly monitoring what's so and so doing today and what do I need to be afraid of, and that really eventually creates a kind of quiet post-traumatic stress.
It sure does. And instead, every day we have something to be grateful for if we pay attention to that,
Yeah.
instead of paying attention to, you know, lack or not enoughness.
If what Ersam says is true, is that we are one with the universe, then we need to stop separating ourselves. And we spend a lot more time separating ourselves from the universe as if somehow by doing that we're safer or things are going to work out for us. We need to understand our oneness with that. I saw a beautiful post or a beautiful post on Facebook, and I posted it. And for those of you that go to my Facebook, you'll see it. This elderly woman, I think she was probably like over 40, and and she's alone. Her husband had died at 40, and a crow comes and knocks on her door, literally knocking. And so she opened the door, and the crow came in and sat on her hand. And the crow comes and visits her every day. But the part that was so wonderful is she said, "You have no idea how wonderful it is to have a friend like this, so a companion." And I talked to him, and he goes and flies away and comes back the next day. And I bring him in, and he sits with me, and I can cuddle with him sometimes. And I thought, well, isn't it interesting to see anything and everything out there is for you rather than against you? She didn't see the crow and say, "The damn crow is knocking at my, who do I call?" It was rather than, wow, I have just met a new friend. If you can make friends with a crow, you can make friends with nearly anybody. I mean, I'm not crowing on this, but it's really, really, it was a dear story to me to think about the ability to reach out and to find abundance in a place where you wouldn't expect to find it.
And they've proven that when they communicate, they're quite the talkers with
Oh,
each
yeah.
other, that they are communicating. It's
Yeah.
not just noise. It may be noise to us.
Well, they did a study in Boston, I think it was Boston, where they had somebody dress up in a costume and go out and harass the crows. And he did that like for a week or two. And then they didn't do it again for forever. And then a year later, they put him in costume again. Not only did the crows remember, but crows that hadn't been a part of it also knew to be careful and stay away from this man. So they communicated to each other.
Yeah.
And so, they are, and some of them even go to Costco. I think I've seen them in the parking lot, but
So this business of Thanksgiving is about being grateful for abundance. But what if we did it every day? Because then you notice the abundance.
mhm.
When you give thanks for the abundance that you have, you notice it. Or when you're looking for what's missing or what's lacking, or you notice that. So that helps you create more abundance in your life by noticing it. I think it's a brilliant idea.
It's so easy not to. We have almost a 20-year-old Lincoln town car, and I've been carefully taking care of it and trying not to spend money on it. And it's kind of like a boat, and every month there's something you need to do to it.
The more we try not to spend money on it, the more money we spend.
And so I'm driving along, and all of a sudden I look over in the corner of my eye, I look at the dashboard, and there's a very small light, and it shows an engine, and it means check engine. For the next 50 miles, I couldn't not look at it.
By the way, this is our second car. We do have another car,
Yeah, yeah.
a new car.
Yeah, so much newer, yeah. So I look over and it's still there, and then I look away like maybe it'll be gone, and I look back and it's there again, and I accelerate a little past her and it's still there. And what's interesting to me is this very, very little light got all of my attention. And then I posted it on Facebook, and somebody said, probably your gas cap is loose. And I thought that's stupid. I put the gas cap on tight. So I took it off and put it back on again and said, I'll try it. It worked. The light is no longer on. I fixed it. But I share this because the smallest light that tells you something is wrong can gather all of your attention.
Yeah.
And suddenly, the air suspension that is so luxurious and the air conditioning that now works because I got it fixed along with a lot of other things. I mean, that was neither here nor there. All I knew was this light was on. And I could imagine that it would cost thousands of dollars to fix this $2,000 car, $10,000 car.
Well, well, I was thinking again about what we get, what we think about all the
Yeah,
time. And there's a lot of commentary in our country right now about things being more expensive, the cost of living going up. And we are experiencing that as well. So I know that is a truism. But where is our focus?
yeah,
Because we have so much more than every other
yeah,
country that I can imagine. That our complaints must seem like whining to the rest of the
right.
world. You know, we have countries in Africa where there is starvation happening, and we complain that our groceries are going up. We need to really be grateful for the abundance that is ours to share, to have and to share. Because when we focus on that, that's what we have more of. We have more abundance.
Yeah,
It really is a matter of perspective. And I'm not minimizing that this is hard for some people, but let's remember to be grateful.
yeah. It's not about minimizing or maximizing. It's really about what you give your attention to grows. What you give your attention to grows in mind, it grows in heart, it grows in the space where creativity lives. And it is so easy to shift from abundance to worry or fear or apprehension or anxiety. And we need less of that. We were watching the news the other day. We watched the 5 o'clock news, and then it rolled around to 5:30, and we were talking, and the news is still on. And Judith said, we're watching the same thing all over again. And I thought, that's right. It just goes on and on and on and on. And I keep waiting for, we arrested this man who did this terrible thing. I'm waiting for the 5:30 news to say, maybe we made a mistake. No, we're going to get his brother and his sister also. Stay tuned. And there's just so much fear mongering because it hooks the interest.
Yeah.
One of the things I noticed, we watch a lot of nature programs, which is really kind of fun. And I love them. And so watching lions, they hunt seriously, they protect seriously. But when they're not hunting and protecting, they're laying around having a really easy time. They just relax. They don't have any anxiety disorders.
No.
There's not a single line in the group that says, I've been depressed for quite a while now. Maybe we need Prozac. Why is that? We saw
Maybe it's because they're king of the forest or king of the what
oh,
are lions
oh,
or king
oh,
of the what?
maybe we can't get the jungle. Yeah,
The jungle,
maybe
yeah.
we need to get, maybe I need to get a mane. But I love watching the baby lions, chewing on the big male lion's tail.
Hail. Yeah.
Yeah, and thinking this is just more fun than I know what to do with. And he put up with it because he knew, in this world there's room for play. Yeah.
Yeah,
So if we
exactly.
can play more, we can be more abundant in our lives. If we can imagine that abundance is everywhere, that every day is Thanksgiving, it just makes such a difference. And I know there's not a single person who's watching this that doesn't know probably every single thing we've said. It's just that for most of us, we have short-term memory problems when it comes to positivity. And when it comes to negativity, we've got very good memory. And so to replace that whenever we can makes all the difference in the world.
So we wish all of you a wonderful Thanksgiving.
And try not to be too hard on
We
the
hope you
turkeys.
share it with Kith,
Yeah.
if not Ken. And 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 if you have not been invited somewhere, invite somebody to your place.
Yeah. And if you go out to a restaurant, then be nice to the people that serve you. And if you're going through a drive-through, pay for somebody else's if you have the money, you can do it. You know, pass it on, pass it forward, and watch what happens. It's amazing when you do that. If I can have somebody, well,
The drive-through what?
drive-through restaurants,
Oh, right, drive-through
yeah,
restaurants. Okay.
right, pay it forward, if you can. Just watch what happens, and people they're not only surprised, but when they get over the surprise, they just feel good about themselves.
Yeah.
And that's what we all want to do. We want to feel good about ourselves. The people that are watching us today are people that we feel good about. We love you dearly. You're amazing people. You live in all different parts of the country and do all different things, but we come together in that same spirit of abundance and of giving and of sharing. And it's contagious. It's contagious for us too. So we appreciate you. We appreciate everything that you're doing in your lives to make life better.
Indeed. And so now we'd like to share a screen.
You want to do that? Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we can do that. Sure. And so we share.
And so what we're sharing is our affirmation that we use when we give thanks for the donations that you provide that keep our church going, our Centers for Spiritual Living in the Palm Beaches. And so as we teach manifestation, we say this affirmation, and I'd like you to say it too. My investment today is made with the full realization that God is the source of my supply and returns it to me enriched and multiplied.
I like the word investment. That when
Right.
we invest our energy, whether it's in money or whether it's in thought, in something, it becomes realized.
Right. And yes, I don't want to ignore that the reason we show this is the first page of our website. And when you go to the website, which is cslpalmbeaches.org, and click on this ways to donate, it shows you how you can participate in keeping our organization going. So
Okay.
thank you. And you want to end the video.